I'm Jennifer Odenwald Bacmeister, a member of Buttman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church and your virtual worship leader this morning. Our opening words come from Elizabeth Strong. Out of the earth rises light, rises life, rises spring. May we join with the miracle that is springtime and enter into life with lightness and joy. Out of the Spirit rises faith, rises hope, rises love. May we join with the miracle that is Easter time and enter into life with hope and love. Let us resurrect with spring, let us resurrect with the Spirit, and enter into renewed life as we gather into our time of worship together this Easter morning. Welcome everyone to the weekly worship service of Buttman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church, coming to you wherever you are via our YouTube channel. It's too bad we can't be together today. I hope you are wearing your Easter bonnet anyway. Staying connected is just as important these days as staying physically apart. So we will continue to offer virtual worship until we can meet once again in person in our church sanctuary. In addition to worship, we are continuing our other opportunities for connection. Classes, small group ministries, children's chapel, parent groups, and coffee conversations are all happening through the magic of the internet and Zoom. Check in regularly with the website, calendar, Facebook page, and your email for more information on the ways we can keep our inner fires burning bright while we tend the flame from afar. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism, be sure to come back and watch next week's service. You should watch last week's service too. While our messages of hope, love, compassion, and service are consistent, our services are as diverse as our theological background. We enjoy a wide array of sermons, philosophical queries, poems, readings, songs, and music in our services. I hope you will continue to join us virtually and maybe someday in person. If you have a chalice at home, you might like to light it with us now. Our reading today is a poem by Elena Westbrook entitled Hope is Risen. Hallelujah! As the spring sun coaxes lilies and bluebonnets from the soil, let us celebrate that even after murderous betrayal, after days and nights suspended in torture, when all the world has gone dark and we cried out, "Why have you forsaken me?" Even then, there is a sunrise. Even then, there is a resurrection if we will climb the hill to look for it. If we will roll away the stone and recognize the different shapes that hope can take to walk among us in the returning light. Our Easter service was originally planned by the BBUUC Christian Fellowship, one of the groups within our congregation. The Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship is an organization of people who are interested in exploring liberal Christianity within the context of their religious liberal faith. Members of BBUUC's Christian Fellowship, Patty and Don DeStefano, are here to bring us the responsive reading. I encourage you to respond out loud, whether on your porch or on your sofa.
Hi, this is Patty and Don of the Christian Fellowship, sharing from the woods of Keystone Heights. This morning's responsive reading is by Lisa Maria Andrioli Steinberg.
We celebrate the memory of winter's sleep and the quieting of our souls.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
We celebrate the return of color and the rebirth of wonder.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
We celebrate the treasure of new life and the promise within.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
We celebrate the human cycle of joy and sorrow and the companionship of this community.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
We celebrate the search for what is sacred and the lifelong pursuit of truth.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
We celebrate the promise of summer's bounty and how it will feed our souls.
Sing praises for spring, revealing holy love that grows deep in our hearts.
Happy Easter and welcome to the Wonder Box. I wonder what we'll find. I wonder if it might have something to do with Easter. Let's see together. An Easter egg. It's very pretty. I love the colors. Have you ever wondered why a bunny delivers Easter eggs? I mean, does that even make sense? It doesn't seem to have much to do with Jesus and his miraculous rising from the dead that Easter celebrates, does it? I think it has something to do with new life, like the new life we see around us in springtime, like seeing bird eggs and little baby bunnies and new leaves and flowers. The story I'm about to share with you may or may not have happened. I don't know, but it tries to make sense of Easter bunnies and resurrections, which is just a big word that means to bring back. Once, long, long ago, there was a goddess, and her name was Ostara. She was the goddess of springtime. She was the bringer of warmth and color, and she gave birth to the sun and helped it shine. One day, around this time of year, while she was going about her very important business, a little child came to her. The child had found a small bird on the ground. The ground was still cold because, well, spring wasn't quite there and Ostara hadn't finished her work yet. The little bird was injured and very, very cold. The little bird was dying. Please, the child pleaded with the goddess, please save this little bird. The goddess was annoyed. Can't you see that I'm busy here? The child was persistent. Please, it won't take much. Just help bring the bird back to life. The goddess heard the love in the child's voice and turned her full attention from her work to the little bird in the child's hands. And with a nod of her head, the goddess turned the little bird into a rabbit. Why a rabbit? Well, now the little bird had a fur coat to keep it warm. It had strong legs to carry it to find food and to run from danger. So happily, the bird bunny hopped away. Each springtime, that bunny remembers that it was once a dying bird. It remembers the gift of resurrection that Ostara gave, and it remembers the love of the little child who had saved its life. Each springtime, in return for the favor, the bunny remembers that it once was a bird, and it lays eggs. It lays colorful, beautiful eggs to honor the colors of springtime that Ostara brings. It brings those eggs to the children in honor of the child who saved its life. Now, I don't know if this story is true or not. I don't know if it actually happened, but I do know it's a powerful story. It's a story about life, gratitude, and love, and those are important things to remember. Let's remember the power of life and gratitude as we go about celebrating this most holy day. And with that, my story is told.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection. Ours is a spiritual community where we find meaning. Ours is a shared community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We now take a moment to reflect on the joys and sorrows among us this week. A candle of joy for David R. He's recovering nicely. You can't put a good man down. A candle of concern for Ellen M.'s brother, who is now in hospice care. If you would like to send a card, please use the Georgia address. A candle of concern for Liz T., who is in Orange Park Hospital with lung issues that haven't been diagnosed yet. She blessedly is not infected with the coronavirus. And may the candlelight extend to David and Joshua, who are holding up as best they can. A candle of concern for Sandra M.'s cousin, who is ill with COVID in New England. Please keep her in your thoughts. A candle of concern for Hillary F.'s sister, brother-in-law, and niece, who all have COVID and are stable. A concern for our young families who are struggling with work and kids at home. A candle of joy for the In Touch captains. Thank you for keeping us connected as a community. We light a final virtual candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken yet in our hearts today. Let us hold each other in our hearts when we cannot hold each other in our hands. Let us be filled with kindness, grace, empathy, and patience. Let us reach out from our solitude and remember that we are still connected and need connection, whether it's a call, card, email, or text. Your congregation is here for you, should you need comfort or help. Linda Crawford is a smart, spunky, well-read, and even better-spoken woman who has graced our pulpit from time to time, and she's a member of the Christian Fellowship. Today, she brings us a reading on the history of Easter.
Good morning. Easter gets its name from the Teutonic goddess of spring and dawn. This lovely lady has been variously called Oestra, Eostra, and also Ostara, which is the name that modern pagans use to honor the goddess as the word for the vernal equinox. The vernal equinox usually falls between March 19th and 22nd, and depending on when the first full moon on or after the equinox occurs, Easter falls sometime between late March and mid-April. The earth reawakens to a burgeoning new season of life-giving, life-affirming gifts. As the sun becomes stronger, there is a sense of joyful abundance. With the end of the cold, dark months, ancient pagans no longer needed to store and ration foodstuffs. Often, the tastiest cured meats were presented to the spring celebrations and feasts as a sign that the people no longer needed to stockpile food. The equinox was recognized worldwide as a time for renewal, rebirth, and revivification. Try saying that 3 times. It was the celebration of the symbolic resurrection of earth itself, Christ, and Hathor of Egypt, to name a few. Passover, which occurs in the middle of the Hebrew month of Nisan, is one of Judaism's most important festivals. In ancient times, the holiday coincided with the spring harvest and was a pilgrimage festival. Later, the holiday commemorated the Exodus from Egypt in the 13th century BC. Ostara and the egg she carries are symbols of fertility, of new and continuing life. Some descriptions say Eostra herself has the head of a hare and is the goddess of rabbits and birds. A popular myth says that the children of the time presented eggs to the goddess as a gift in return for her bringing them the spring. She was so touched by this gift that she recruited her minions, the rabbits, to return the eggs to the children in baskets or bird nests. And that is where the tradition of rabbits delivering eggs to children came from. Eggs also represent the promise of new life. The cells would dye the eggs to symbolize cycles. While dyeing the eggs, women and children would think carefully on their hopes and dreams for the coming year. They would then bury the eggs alongside a seedling in the ground to sustain and feed the plant through its growing season. As the plant grew, the hope or wish would also take root and come to fruition at the end of the year. It has been reported that when Christianity came to the Northern Isles, the priests, not approving of such a pagan practice, would encourage children to seek out and dig up the eggs. When the children would bring them back to the church, the clergy would pay them a small token for each egg collected. Hence, the Easter egg hunt was born. Another popular tradition, and one that I love, is the making of yummy hot cross buns. There are mixed reports on the symbolism of the cross on top of the buns. Some suggest that the equilateral cross symbolized the 4 quarters of the moon. Others suggest it expresses the uniformity of the seasonal year. And still others believe it expresses the equilibrium of the equinox day, equal day and equal night. One thing is for certain, the equilateral cross reaches back through time to the many ages before Christianity. Today, we celebrate this season of rebirth and hope for the future.
Each one of you is what makes our church a community. We are learning new ways to be a community, and in community, well, we cannot actually commune. Even though the future isn't clear, we remain focused on our mission. Since we are unable to pass the plate, we will accept a virtual offering. Today's offering will go toward our operating fund, which maintains our building and grounds, pays the staff, and supports our shared values and vision. In addition to the offering, we also encourage you to continue to fulfill your pledges. To make an offering, simply go to the link you will find in the description of this service. You can also visit our webpage, BBUUC.org, and click the donate link in the upper right-hand corner. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. The Reverend Pat Ray is one of our beloved members and has been a speaker in our pulpit many, many times. As the leader of the Christian Fellowship, she engages our membership in discussion and exploration of Christianity and Unitarian Universalism. The fellowship meets monthly. Check the church's social media for more information. Reverend Ray, the video pulpit is yours.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Happy Easter. Now, obviously, this was not the service we had planned. We had an egg tree, we had lovely duets, we had interactive readings, we had an egg hunt for the kids, and a potluck. But here we are, and we must enjoy what we do have today with family and friends. Sunny days and birds singing, you can hear them here. Hopefully you're able to share some of these things at home. We are in the gardens at the church to bring you a small bit of Easter. You know, we spend a lot of time on Christmas. Decorations are out months in advance. All kinds of parties happen. And we might get extra days off from work. We did this year. But Easter, there's no fancy Easter parties. There's no gift-pushing sales. But it is a good excuse to eat chocolate on Sunday. When I was a child, we did not have a lot of money. We lived in St. Petersburg and Sarasota. And every Easter, my grandfather came to visit from Tampa. Now, he would always tell us that on his way across the Gandy Bridge, the Easter Bunny had stopped his car and given him our baskets. We were so excited that our grandfather knew the Easter Bunny personally. And then we got these really good baskets from him. Now we know the story of Easter. After 3 days, Jesus somehow leaves the tomb, and when the stone is rolled back from the front, it is empty. And he's already on his way to another town, and the angel tells everybody that. Well, let me tell you folks, it takes faith to believe in the empty tomb, just as a child might believe in the Easter Bunny. It takes hope that it is true. The Reverend Eric Wickstrom, gosh, I just got that name all over there. He's a UU minister, and he says this about the empty tomb. It is, I think, so important to remember that according to the stories that were come down to us in the community that had gathered around Jesus, they were not expecting the resurrection. Now, yes, they'd been told to expect it, but from the stories it's clear they didn't. They were devastated. Hope had been lost. Dreams had been dashed. Their despair was real. It was crushing. It was final and definitive. Except that it wasn't. And whatever else came out of that tomb on that first Easter morning, that community's hope was resurrected. Its faith was raised up. Its vision proved more lasting. Christmas was the birth of Jesus, but Easter was the demonstration of his influence. We don't know what really happened, and it doesn't really matter. But life and hope are the common threads between eggs, green grass, flowers, birds, bunnies, and the empty tomb. These are days where sometimes hope can be hard to find. We are a communal people who need each other. For Alex Holt, for all those who celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, may this day be another affirmation of divine love and promise. For all those who see the eternal story of new spring and life beginning anew, may you breathe deeply of a season of promise and hope. For all who are experiencing despair of hopelessness this Easter, may you find in the darkness or depression a doorway to light and warmth that offers you freedom. For all of us, together, we can do what no one isolated person can do. Rolling the heavy stone aside reminds us that we are far more powerful than we ever could be on our own. Our offering of strong hands to help, our prayers made real, and let us begin again to love. In closing prayer, we share from UUA and Paul Sawyer. We gather today in humility, awed by the stone rolled back and the surprise of the empty tomb. We gather in defiance of the pain and injustice that came before and of the pain and injustice that will likely come again. We gather in hope that life can begin anew, that our differences can be bridged, that the beloved community can arise. We gather in faith that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness does not overcome it. We gather in wonder of the beauty we can see and of the mystery of all we can never know. To pray for faith and strength to stand for what is good, to do what we must to live lives of integrity and peace. We pray in gratitude and joy for this community, for the beauty of this day, for the hope and love promised in this ancient story, in the stone rolled away. May you have a blessed and hopeful Easter.
Thank you, Pat. It has been a beautiful morning. I know that each of you are out there doing the best you can for yourself and others in these trying times. Keep your flames burning, my friends. Thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. I hope we get to see each other soon. We will extinguish our chalice with the words of Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Never has it been more true than now. We extinguish this flame, but the sparks within us remain alight. From each of us in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparkling through space one to another, connecting us invisibly but palpably. We are one, and from every window our light shines. Go in peace and wash your hands. Blessed be the TP. Namaste, home. I love you guys. Stay safe. See you soon.